Hi, I'm Erica Kustra, Director of the Centre for Teaching and Learning at the University of Windsor, Ontario, and I'm here to welcome you to our presentation on 65 is the New 40, Emeriti in Educational Development. I am thrilled to welcome my colleagues.
Hi, I'm Veronica Maggiorotti. I'm a professor emeritus in the School of Creative Arts at the University of Windsor and founder of the interdisciplinary program Visual Arts in the Built Environment, affectionately known as VADE. This is a cross-border collaboration with the School of Architecture at the University of Detroit Mercy, and I joined the CTL as a senior fellow in 2017.
And I'm Erica Stevens Abbott. I'm an associate professor emerita in the School of Dramatic Art at the University of Windsor, and I joined the CTL as a senior fellow a year after Veronica. We share a small office space on campus and enjoy hanging out, but of course this past year we've been working virtually via Teams.
Erica is a former actor, a late career academic. Her research has focused on girl culture, pedagogy, political theater, and feminist performance, and not only in Canada, but in the US and Britain as well. She is definitely dramatic, as you might expect, and quite passionate about issues of student access, diversity, and equity, as well as the importance of critical thinking, arts education, and interdisciplinary exchange.
Thank you, V. Veronica is a world-renowned innovator in the field of design, recognized by the Ontario Association of Architects for outstanding contributions to the built environment and to the architectural profession. She's winner of the American Institute of Architects Scholastic Award. She's also a 3M Fellow and a community advocate for the arts in Windsor. And apart from that, she's excellent company, a strong advocate for retiree rights, a former dancer, and a world traveler.
Well, okay, so enough about us. Erica Kustra, this whole project was your brainchild. So what gave you the idea for Senior Fellows Program?
Well, this project of inviting senior fellows to join our staff of educational developers at the center is one near and dear to my heart. I first began planning back in 2015 and developed it over the next few years. I saw incredible leaders in teaching and learning retiring, and we were losing valuable people. The overall program includes a formal relationship with retired, usually emeritus, faculty members who have a track record of educational leadership, enhancing teaching and learning. We imagine tasks such as leading projects, providing perspectives, mentoring, and facilitating workshops. In our center, we have a mix of staff and faculty positions supporting the campus on many levels, but having retired faculty members as senior fellows on our team is invaluable. They have experience within departments outside the CTL. They bring us institutional memory, and they know how the university works from the lived experience as faculty members. The center can't do everything. There are gaps in our network, our perspectives, there are perspectives we don't have. We can't afford to hire everyone we would like to give the entire campus everything they need. So now we have 2 senior fellows who come to our weekly meetings. They complement our center's expertise and they extend our reach, and they are great to have on the team.
Well, I'm intrigued. How do you choose? How did you pick us for these positions? What were you looking for?
Okay, so this is an invited position, as it's really important to have the right person in this role. This is not a formula, but there are characteristics that I feel are essential. It's a matter of personality, commitment, and finding different kinds of people with different skills who can help us meet the center's needs as they change over time. I have a list of criteria shared in the handout, but a few critical examples include educational leaders who have initiated change to improve teaching in higher education, people who are connected to networks of faculty as well as students, people who are helpful, empathetic, and active listeners, and other focus so they're able to help us help others, and passion-driven. Since the labor is substantially outweighing the material benefits, which is really only $1,000, really passion is what drives. So I thought Veronica and Erica would be great choices. Veronica's commitment to innovation and change, her reputation on campus nationally as an educational leader, such as starting VABE, these are all part of it, but also the simple fact that she works so well with everyone and she has phenomenal insights and is a powerhouse of energy. And then we also grew to know Erica really well at the CTL before her retirement. She worked closely to revitalize curriculum, make it more accessible to students. She also served for years as the director of our university's Humanity Research Center, and she was one of our champions for new technology. And like Veronica, she's fun to work with.
Wow, Erica, that's very flattering.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you.
So I guess I should ask each of you, what have you done as a senior fellow? What ways have you found to engage and have you enjoyed them?
Well, I was first, and there was always lots of interesting things to do and going at CTL. I had the pleasure of working with the CTL team on their annual Spring Teaching Dossier Academy, which is just amazing, and was involved in welcoming new faculty at the summer orientation workshop, discussing, documenting teaching activities. I gave several workshops throughout the year that focused on course planning, the development of learning outcomes, and various learning strategies. I offered integrative workshops at the GAT Academy on creating rubrics for grading and student feedback. And occasionally I'd wear my architect's hat. For several years, I worked with a very talented VABE graduate student examining the spatial needs of CTL. And I also made recommendations during CTL's move to their new facility. The last 2 years, I've worked closely with Erica. Actually, I've worked with both Ericas on the establishment of a small mentoring groups for early career faculty, trying to help them thrive at the university in their teaching, research, and service, and generally demystifying how the university functions, which is sometimes a little bit difficult. This has been very successful, and I think the faculty have enjoyed gaining a perspective from individuals who've gone through the entire academic process.
And I started later. I'm the second kid on the block. I helped to develop a series of workshops on self-care, critical thinking, emotional labor, and other things you could call the invisibles of teaching. I was also asked to serve as a mentor to early career faculty members, as V mentioned, and that's something I've really, really enjoyed. More recently, Erica encouraged me to facilitate a virtual community of practice with colleagues on campus who are interested in what I call resisting pedagogies. Feminist pedagogies, queer pedagogies, indigenous, anti-racist, anti-ableist approaches to classroom practice. So we meet once a month virtually to talk. It's informal. We share resources. Especially now in this challenging time, these meetings really have been incredibly satisfying.
And if we ever get back on campus, Erica and I want to do a project involving pop-up sessions in different spaces across the campus, exploring the use of space, time, and presence to enhancing teaching effectiveness.
I really can't wait for that day to come.
Me too.
Okay, here's an important question for anyone watching. Has it been worthwhile for you to serve as senior fellows?
Yes.
That's
yes.
the $20 million question. Well, okay. For one thing, I've been able to keep the connections I have with people on campus as I continue my research at home and abroad. I've been able to continue contributing to various university committees that have been important to me during my academic career. I've remained in touch with students through thesis advisement and the supervision of outstanding student scholars. I've been invited to come to classes as a guest lecturer and act as an adjudicator for design charrettes. With my involvement in our Retirees Association, I've been able to link potential retired volunteers to CTL. It's because of my affiliation with CTL that I feel like like I'm giving back to the institution that I love, that my institutional memory and personal affiliations within the university continue to be helpful, and that I'm demonstrating to our early career faculty that the process and the scholarship of teaching continues throughout our lifetime and that it doesn't stop with retirement.
So true. I'm a caregiver, so I need to manage my time very carefully. I want to give back. I want to be active. I want to have a role which is realistic, something I really can do and develop as my own time permits. But I badly want to stay connected. I want to expand my research into theater, social justice, and teaching practices. So for me, this position has been a godsend. I've been supported through my fellowship grant in some exciting new areas of research. Mediation studies, trauma-informed pedagogies are just two of them. I feel connected to a growing community of scholars changing the landscape of academia. I just feel useful. That's very important to me.
Yeah.
So having a senior fellow or senior fellows also benefits us in the Center for Teaching and Learning, as well as the faculty and students across our campus. There are things like efficiently using all resources. We could not do everything without you. Labor and institutional knowledge, supporting the system in precarious times. These are very unusual times right now, and having the complement of your expertise during these precarious times has been incredibly valuable. Navigating the tensions, especially right now with COVID, tensions between online and live delivery of teaching and the change management that involves, having expertise of people who've gone through many change management, intergenerational exchanges. So insights, data, and experience in the times of these transitions and the exchanges between generations and the lessons learned. Also, having you as liaison to facilitate communication between the professoriate and the educational developers who support them. Being retired gives you a phenomenal and unique position to do this because you are no longer part of the hiring, tenure, and promotion process, but you know it intimately. And so you have intense connections with the professors, so you can enable an exchange and an understanding and a liaison between us and the professors. Mentoring within the CTL has also been critical. So we don't always have someone to go and talk to. So having an experienced leader who we can turn to for feedback, for mentoring inside has been really helpful, especially for me. So I can come and check ideas and discuss with someone who has experience, who understands our context, but is not currently part of the hiring, tenure, and promotion processes is phenomenal. So having you as mentors has been amazing for me.
But we've had some challenges too, I think. How would you describe those, Erica?
Okay, apart from the pandemic,
Yeah.
there have definitely been challenges and things that we would like to tweak, that we've learned that we would like to improve as we go forward. So one of the things we did learn is it's important to find people before retirement to ensure continuity before the leave. So that's an important thing that we learned. Another thing is there's a need for a much stronger initial orientation and understanding of the Center for Teaching and Learning, because we realized the retirees that we connected with knew us in one way, but maybe not the full understanding of everything the CTL did. It was important as a result also to have the senior fellows join us regular meetings with the staff as well as with each other, and so that they can get to know each other and encourage new projects. Ensuring that you are part of and seen as part of our staff, our team, is another important thing. Having early opportunities to share expertise and be involved in collaborative projects was also critical, so that the members of the existing CTL team understood your expertise and you saw yourself as experts, as having something to contribute and being part of the team early, right off the bat. There were some logistical issues that we never thought of, such as our retirees are cut out of our IT, our university IT, full email library access, So that was a logistical thing we had not expected. Also, even arranging tiny physical space for senior fellows to use as a home place at the center to enable them to engage with each other as well as the rest of the CTL team. A place to meet, have a computer, have a phone, a desk. That was really important. But at our institution, space is the final frontier. So it is really difficult to arrange. Then there's the issue of funding. Even the cost of parking for senior fellows who only come to campus for a few weekly meetings. So the logistics of funding, space, and IT were things that we did not expect. Importance of being aware of the institutional context is also something we learned. It's very important to be aware of the HR and collective agreement and union expectations of the institution, be aware of them from the beginning, and design the program and establish it so that it is consistent and aligned with all of those elements. So how about you two? What challenges have you encountered as senior fellows?
Well, there have been times when I've started to feel like I've returned to work, especially during the pandemic. This affiliation is meant to be fun and gratifying. And I think as soon as it becomes strenuous, the joy begins to dissipate a bit. Also, knowing where you fit in within the center has required some negotiation. You're not staff, you're not current faculty, you're not administration, but you're not really a stranger either. So you deviate from the regular path. So the challenge is knowing exactly where you fit in and how you can actually contribute.
No, I agree. And for me, although I really enjoy it, faculty mentorship is always a challenge. I feel pressure to stay up to date in order to be truly helpful. And sometimes that's hard when I'm not serving in the trenches with my younger colleagues. And I think this is one reason that new blood will eventually be needed in senior fellows, much as I'd like to stay in this role forever.
So we need to continually enhance the program, and we're trying to do that through discussion and feedback such as this. But in general, I have to say we all do well. The CTL team loves having the senior fellows, and this conference is just one example of how it helps us to make connections in the educational development and across institutions and borders.
Erica, do you think that this program, the Senior Fellows Program, could work in other institutions not like ours?
Absolutely. Though you may need to do things differently, this model could certainly be adapted to suit your needs. For us, it's been such a success that we've expanded and extended the positions. There are people out there who have a lot to give. Recently, our Retirees Association made us aware that there's a lot of interest among its members in continuing to be engaged. As we move forward, we're going to look at some of the other models for engaging with retired faculty and staff who would like to serve in different roles and different levels of commitment to complement our work. They won't be full senior fellows, but the model might be useful to adapt at different levels of commitment, and that adaptation may be useful at other institutions. There are some resources and readings out there on the subject, and we're adding some to the end of this presentation.
It's so important to be flexible and to design something that works for you. So if our experience is useful to you, please don't hesitate at all to contact either of us.
We've added our email details to the resources. So please feel free to email me or Veronica, or better still, contact our fearless leader, Erica Kustra.
As you've probably figured out by now, we enjoy working as a team, and we would be happy to share any information that we have with you. And we'd like to end by saying thanks to STLHE for inviting us to participate in the conference, and many thanks to all of you for listening to our presentation. Bye.
Bye. Bye.